Hello and welcome to this channel. This is Abdul Salam, and in today's lecture, I'll be talking about the auxiliaries or the auxiliary verbs. So let's start the video. Basically, there are three main auxiliary verbs. They are do, have, and be. The three main auxiliary verbs are be, have, and do. The different forms of be are is, are, am, or in the past, was, and were. The forms of do are did and does. And the other form of have is the past form, that is had. So, what is an auxiliary verb? Auxiliary verb is that verb that is used with an ordinary verb to make different kinds of sentences, different kinds of structures. The auxiliary verbs are used with ordinary verbs to form the sentences of tenses, of passives, of questions, and negatives. Let's first discuss the auxiliary verb be. The auxiliary verb be, in its different forms, is used first for the formation of the continuous tense, both present and past. For example, he is working. Is the auxiliary verb be. Is the form of auxiliary verb be, and it has been used with another ordinary verb, that is working. So this auxiliary verb is a helping verb for another ordinary main verb. Or in the past, I was writing. Was is the form of the auxiliary verb be in the past. The auxiliary verb be in its different forms is also used for the formation of the passive tense. For example, the gate was opened. Was is an auxiliary verb be, and it has been used with another ordinary verb, that is opened. When the auxiliary verb be in its different forms is followed by an infinitive, then it is used for two things. First, it shows a plan or arrangement or agreement. And second, it shows command. First, a plan, agreement, or arrangement. For example, I am to see him tomorrow. It is a plan. I am. Am is the auxiliary verb. And to see, it is the infinitive. I am to see him tomorrow. It is a plan. Or, we are to be married next month. It is a plan and an agreement and an arrangement. We are. Are is the auxiliary verb be. To be married, the infinitive, next month. Or it shows a command. When the auxiliary verb be is followed by an infinitive, it also shows command. For example, you are to write your name at the top of every sheet of paper. It is a command. You are. Are is the auxiliary verb be. To write, an infinitive. You are to write your name at the top of every sheet of paper. When the auxiliary verb be is followed by a perfect infinitive, it shows an arrangement, a plan, an agreement that could not be carried out, that could not be fulfilled. For example, they were to have been married last month but had to postpone. Were, the auxiliary verb be. To have been married, this is the perfect infinitive. So when a perfect infinitive comes after the auxiliary verb be, it means it shows an arrangement, a plan that was agreed upon but could not be fulfilled, could not be completed. The next auxiliary verb is have, and it has its forms has and had. First, have is used to form the perfect tenses. For example, he has worked. Has is the auxiliary verb have. He has worked, the present perfect tense. He has been working, the present perfect continuous tense. So have, the different forms of have are used to form the perfect tenses. Second, have to is used with the infinitive to show obligation. For example, I have to be there by 5 o'clock. Have, the auxiliary verb have, has been used with the infinitive over here to show obligation. I have to be there by 5 o'clock. Similarly, in the past, to show obligation, had to is used. I had to be there. Now, to form the negatives and the questions of this structure, showing the obligation, we use the auxiliary verb do in the form of didn't, did, doesn't, does, do, don't. For example, they have to go. To form the negative, they don't have to go. To form the interrogative, do they have to go? Similarly, he has to go. To form the interrogative, does he have to go? And to form the negative, he doesn't have to go. Similarly, in the past, he had to go. To form the negative, he didn't have to go. And to form the interrogative, did he have to go? Now let's discuss the third auxiliary verb, do, with its different forms, which are does, did. The auxiliary verb is mainly used to form the negatives and the interrogatives of the past and present indefinite tenses, the simple present tense and the simple past tense. For example, the sentence of a simple present tense is he works. The negative will be he doesn't work. The auxiliary verb do in the form of does has been used to form the negative of the simple present tense. He works, he doesn't work. Does he work? Similarly, he worked. He didn't work. Did he work? Do, the auxiliary verb do, is also used in sentences to avoid the repetition of the ordinary verb again in the sentence. For example, do you know him? Yes, I do. Now, I could have said, yes, I know him. But to avoid the repetition of the main verb, know, I simply add, yes, I do. Do you know him? Do you know her? Yes, I do. Does she sing well? Yes, she does. I could have said, yes, she sings well. But I just said, yes, she does. Do is also used to emphasize the affirmative nature of a statement. For example, there's a statement, you look pale. It is an affirmative sentence, but I want to emphasize the information given in this affirmative sentence. I will say, you do look pale. You look pale, you do look pale. I told him not to go, but he did go. I told him not to go, but he went. But to emphasize the affirmative nature of this sentence, I'll say, I told him not to go, but he did go. In the imperative sentences, do is used to make the request or invitation more persuasive. For example, I can say the imperative sentence is, be quiet. But to make it more persuasive, I'll say, do be quiet. I can simply say, come to the party. But to put more emphasis, to make it more persuasive, this request, this invitation, I'll say, do come to the party. In these sentences, the do is stressed. That's all for this lecture. Thanks.